Okay, let's talk about a feeling pretty much everyone knows, being tired. And I don't mean just sleepy after a long day. I'm talking about that deep, nagging fatigue that just sticks around no matter what you do. It's so frustrating, right? Well, today, we're going to investigate exactly why that happens. So, let's kick things off with a question that probably hits pretty close to home for a lot of you. You do everything right, you get your solid 8 hours, but you wake up feeling like you barely slept at all. What is the deal? I promise you, it's not just in your head. It's a real thing. And today, we're basically going to play detective and uncover the hidden reasons behind that exhaustion. And it's so important that we actually take this seriously because this is way more than just feeling a little groggy. It has a real domino effect on your life. We're talking poor concentration at work, maybe a shorter fuse with people you love, and it can even lead to serious health problems like high blood pressure. The point is, this is your body sending a signal that something is off balance. So where do we even start looking for clues? Well, the most logical place is your bedroom. Before we dive into all the complicated medical stuff, let's just make sure the basics are solid. It's time to unlock the secrets of your sleep environment. Now this right here, this gets to the heart of a huge misunderstanding about sleep. We get so obsessed with the number of hours we get, 7, 8, 9, but what the experts are saying is that it's the quality of those hours that really matters. You could sleep for 10 hours straight, but if that sleep is light and broken up, it's just not going to recharge you.
So how do we get that quality up? The good news is there are some super clear, simple steps you can take. First, set the scene. Think of your bedroom like a cave, cool, dark, and quiet. Around 21 degrees Celsius seems to be the sweet spot. Second, power down. That blue light from our phones and TVs literally messes with melatonin, which is the hormone that tells your brain it's time to sleep. So get those screens out of there. Third, be consistent. Your body loves a routine, so try to stick to the same bedtime and wake up time. And yeah, that includes the weekends. Sorry. Finally, watch what you eat and drink late at night. That evening coffee or even just a cup of tea after 7 p.m. can totally sabotage your sleep quality.
Okay, so you've done it. Your bedroom is a perfect sleep cave, you're following all the rules, but you still feel wiped out. Now what? Well, our investigation now has to move from your environment to what's happening inside your body. We need to look for a potential energy crisis. And one of the biggest and most common culprits is something called iron deficiency anemia. Let's think about it like this. Your red blood cells are like a giant fleet of delivery trucks, and their job is to deliver oxygen all over your body. To build those trucks, you need iron. If you're low on iron, you just can't build enough healthy trucks. And what happens? Your whole body, from your brain to your muscles, is starved for the oxygen it needs to make energy. So how would you even know if this is what's going on with you? Well, there's a pretty clear checklist of signs that go way beyond just being tired. Do you feel weak all the time? Is your skin looking a little paler than usual? Do you get out of breath really easily? And here's a huge one. Are your hands and feet always cold? Dizziness, brittle nails, even hair loss. These are all major clues. If you're nodding along to this list, you'll want to pay close attention.
And this chart really just shows you why this is such a common problem, especially for women. I mean, look at that difference. Women typically need more than double the daily iron that men do, 18 milligrams compared to just 8. A lot of that is due to things like menstruation and pregnancy, and it just goes to show how easy it can be to fall short on this absolutely vital mineral.
Now, iron is definitely the main character here, but it's not working alone. There are other nutrient deficiencies that can totally drain your battery. A lack of B12, for example, can cause both fatigue and that foggy-headed feeling. Low vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin, is often connected to muscle pain and tiredness. And magnesium, oh, it's a powerhouse. It's essential for creating energy inside every single one of your cells. All right, let's move on and see how this all starts to connect. We've looked at your room, you've looked at your nutrition, but what happens when the fatigue is more complicated than that? What if it's part of a bigger picture? We're now moving into the world of specific syndromes, where being tired isn't just a symptom, it's the main event. And this is where our investigation takes a really interesting turn, where all the different threads start to weave together. It turns out that a problem like low iron doesn't just make you tired during the day. It can actually set off another condition that ruins your sleep at night. And that condition is called restless leg syndrome, or RLS. And listen, this is not just a case of the fidgets. It's this super uncomfortable, sometimes even painful, creepy, crawly feeling in your legs that gives you this overwhelming urge to move them. And the key thing is, it happens when you're trying to rest, like right when you get in bed and try to fall asleep. And here it is, the direct link. Research shows that being deficient in iron is a major factor in up to 30% of these cases. So, do you see the vicious cycle here? Low iron makes you tired during the day. Then, that same low iron triggers RLS at night, which wrecks your sleep, which then makes you even more exhausted the next day. It's just a brutal feedback loop.
But let's take our investigation one level deeper. What if the fatigue you feel isn't just tiredness? What if it's this profound, bone-deep exhaustion? What if doing something simple, like going to the grocery store, doesn't just make you tired, but leaves you completely and totally wiped out for the next day? Or maybe even longer? This is where we run into a condition called chronic fatigue syndrome, or ME/CFS, and it's defined as a really complex and serious illness. The main things to know are right here. The fatigue has to be severe, it has to last for at least 6 months, and, this part is absolutely critical, it does not get better with rest. In fact, activity often makes it much, much worse. And that brings us to the most important point, the one thing that truly defines this illness. It's a symptom with a name, post-exertional malaise, or PEM. And this isn't just feeling tired after you exercise. This is a severe crash, a full-body relapse of symptoms that can be triggered by even the smallest amount of physical or mental effort. It's like your body's entire energy system just short-circuits. Now, because fatigue is a part of both, ME/CFS gets confused with fibromyalgia all the time. But this slide really clears up the key difference, and it's so important to understand. With ME/CFS, the number one defining thing is that energy crash, the PEM. With fibromyalgia, yeah, there's fatigue, but the main event, the primary symptom, is widespread chronic pain all over the body. So after digging into our environment, our nutrition, and these really complex syndromes, where does all this leave us? Well, in our final section, we're going to pull it all together into a practical guide, your path to figuring out what's going on and hopefully, finally, getting more energy. Okay, let's put this all together. Think of this table as your investigation summary. If your main thing is feeling tired even after a full night's sleep, your first step is to really work on that sleep hygiene. If it's the constant weakness and feeling cold, it's time to look at your diet and talk to a doctor about your iron levels. If it's that awful, creepy, crawly feeling in your legs when you try to rest, that's a clue to look into RLS. And finally, if the big red flag for you is that severe crash after activity, the focus has to be on very careful energy management and getting specialized medical help.
And please, here's a crucial reminder. What we've talked about today is a guide to help you ask the right questions. It is absolutely not a substitute for professional medical advice. If any of this sounded familiar to you, the most important step you can take is to talk to your doctor to get a real, proper diagnosis. So if you take one thing away from all of this, let it be this. Your fatigue is not just in your head. It's a real, complex, and meaningful signal from your body. It's telling you a story. And the very first, most powerful step you can take is to stop ignoring it and start listening, really listening to what it's trying to say.
And that really brings us to our final thought. We've laid out the clues, the potential culprits, the different paths this investigation can take. Your fatigue is telling a story about your sleep, your nutrition, maybe your body's deeper systems. The only question left is, are you ready to listen? Thanks for joining us.